What do you do when you got a 9-year-old, a bunch of scrap wood, you need some more super shallows?
What?
Put them to work. And we've got some 2x4 scraps from a washer dryer pedestal build we did. So we're going to try to cut these into some shallow frames. One, because I need them today, and everywhere you can get them is closed. And I think we can make it. I don't have a dado stack for this cut, and I don't have a bandsaw to kind of do these shoulders and the sidebars, but I think we can figure something out. I know this is a deep, everything other than the height of the sidebars is going to be the same. So we're going to start ripping some of this wood up. I know I need some 1 inch by 3/4 inch by 19 inch pieces. And so we're just going to get started here. We know we need 1 inch wide top bars. So we set our fence to 1 inch. We're going to run this thing down, and then we will cut it to the 3/4 inch length after that. Actually, yeah. Before we do that, we're just going to take the edge of this off to give it a nice straight. We want to take that kerf off. Not a kerf. We want to take this rounded edge off from the factory. Hopefully we got 1 inch left after we do that. By doing that, now when we go back to 1 inch, we'll have 2 straight sides, assuming I can get 1 inch. Yeah, that'll be close. My blade's setting a little high. Now we'll put our freshly cut side against the fence so we remove the rounded edge. Isn't that right, Flash?
What?
That's looking good, boy.
Yeah, but I have to do another coat.
Good idea. All right, now we have a 1 inch square. Now we need to make it 3/4 inches in this direction. So same thing. Pop your fence over to 3/4. All right, so start. Yes, sir. Starting to look like a top bar. Now, this is for demonstration purposes, of course. If you're going to make a bunch of these, instead of resetting your fence every cut, you'll want to make all of your cuts with the fence in one spot. So I'll make all my flat shoulder cuts, then I'll make all my 1 inch cuts, then I'd run all my 3/4 inch cuts, and then I would make all of my starter strip relief cuts, and then I would go to the side pieces and the bottom bar. But that's just an example of how you can take the side of a 2x4, basically anything like this, and you can make top bars and bottom bars. All right, what do we have here, Flashy?
I have no idea.
We have 6 1 inch by 3/4 inch top bar blanks. All we have left to do now is cut its length, 19 inches, and make our recess for the starter strip. Now, Flash, thickness of a starter strip, go.
I don't know.
What? It's a trick question. Nobody knows the thickness of a starter strip. Most of all me. So we're just gonna guess. Let's just see what this one is on this. It's a quarter inch. That ain't gonna happen. We're just gonna do a blade width. Think that's enough? Let's see. So we want it to be in the center of our top bar. Our top bars are 1 inch. So we'll want it to be halfway. I'm not gonna measure. I'm just gonna put it halfway. How deep do we want it to be? How deep do we want it to be, Flash?
21 feet.
21 feet. Okay, that's going to be a problem. How about 1/8 of an inch? No, quarter inch. No, nobody knows. It's a mystery. We'd have to ask Langstroth himself.
Is he alive?
No, he's not. He's been dead a long time. All right, I don't know how deep we're going to make this. We're just going to do about half the depth. All right, we'll make a little practice run here. You might have noticed that the top bar is only 3/4 inches thick on the foundation section. These ears here are trimmed down as such. This is highly precise, very tight tolerances on these markings, as will be the cuttings. And the way you achieve that is you set them on here like this. You close one eye. It's important that you close one eye. And then you kind of just like that. This would be a great place to use a bandsaw. So if you have one, I recommend it. If you don't, I don't know, you can cut it by hand if you want. I think I'm gonna use a jigsaw.
You have one?
Flash, what do you think about the jigsaw?
I don't know what that is.
All right. He says he wants it. You got it, buddy-o.
Yeah, totally.
All right, we got the jigsaw. We got our 6 top bars. They're marked. Flash, look at that camera. Can you see me in there? Can you see what's going on here?
Okay.
Boy. I'll take a nap. You let me know when you're ready.
I can see the wood,
Yeah,
but I can't see you.
that's fine. They don't need to see me.
Oh, Mom's home.
Good.
I'm gonna hold this because it's shaking the screen.
Good call. My little cameraman.
Okay, it's still shaking. I don't know why.
Say. Next side. Same thing.
Oh, I bet it won't.
Oh, that's hideous. Need a bandsaw.
What's a bandsaw?
Alright, so the jigsaw is obviously a little rough, but when you got a 9-year-old in a file, anything's possible. Right, son?
What?
Anything's possible with a 9-year-old in a file.
Sure.
Alright, he's gonna do that. I'm gonna go inside and drink a soda pop.
Box.
Alright, we've pretty much cut all the bottoms the same way we did the tops. We ripped them in two directions, 7/16, which is this way, and 3/4, which is this way. So this is how it sits on the bottom. You'll notice the bottom bars of most frames have these little slight indentations where they recess into the side pieces. There's a few ways you can do it. Bandsaw would be best. Jigsaw might work. You can use a chisel to work off the notches, or you could use a file as well to just bring that edge down. So lots of different ways you can do it, as long as you're using aerospace accuracy like we are. That's all that really matters. All right, we got tops, cut, notched, width, thicked, grooved, bottoms, width, thicked, little edges, trimmed down. Now I want to make my starter strips. I'm just going to use this plain old 2x material. The goal is obviously to make it the same thickness as the groove in your top bar, which is the blade width. So it's going to be pretty thin. We'll see how it goes. We're going to start by cutting off the rounded edge just like we did before. We want a nice flat piece starter strip on both sides. So the reason I'm using this full 2x material is just so I've got a little bit more to hang on to, because these are going to be really, really thin rips. Hopefully this even works. We'll do a little test piece here. All right, let's see if it fits. It's close. It fits in some spots, but not others, which is not surprising. I might be able to start it here on one side and shove it in. Actually, that's about perfect. We obviously want it to be on the tight side rather than the loose side. All right. So, 5 more of those and we're almost in business. All right, starter strips are made. Now we just have the sides left. They are 3/8 of an inch thick. We're gonna take what's left of our starter strip 2x4, excuse me, and see how many we can get. They only need to be 5 3/8 tall. That means I'm probably gonna get 4 sides per cut on this, so I'll probably get half of them out of this scrap here. I was actually able to get 3 runs out of that, and at 4 each, that's the 12 I need. Now we'll jump over here to the old saw up miter. I need to set up a jig on a 5 3/8. That is tiny. Jeez. All right, just need 12 of those. Side pieces are cut. Now all we have to do is notch for the top bar, notch for the bottom bar, and then cut these little shoulders in there. I guess. You think that's necessary? Of course it is. All right, so this is the extremely technical portion of this. You know, just, you know, what does that look like? And just make it look like that. These sections, these cutouts, where the top bars and bottom bars go into the sides, that's where a dado stack on a table saw would just make this so quick and easy and precise. And then a bandsaw to cut out these shoulders. This would go really quick and turn out really nice if you have availability to those. But if you don't, well, you'll see how it turns out. I meant to mention, I'm going to cut this one out, and then this will just be my template for the other. So I wouldn't worry about trying to measure and cut out on all, your whole stack of sidebars. Just do it once, take your time, make one look halfway decent, and then just trace it onto the next one. There's a few different techniques to use a jigsaw to make these inside tight corner cuts. I just made a few passes back and forth to where I could just kind of notch out the majority of it. Then I'll take a file and I'll quickly square that out. And we'll use a round bastard file to put a nicer radius on this. And I know it looks terrible, but it's gonna look better. Love how nobody said anything about how much I overdrew this. I need to bring that up about ½ inch. See, it's supposed to go like that, obviously. Is that in focus? No, they're quiet. See, goof that one up. That's okay. That's why you just do your test template first. Where's my bottom piece? From the bottom piece, let's see how that fits. That fits okay. Remember, your glue and nails are gonna hold this stuff together tight. I'm not worried about being perfect. I do need to come down a little bit, make that a taller shoulder. Then I'll revise this on the next one and we'll do it again. All right, so I've now done 11 of these with varying degrees of awfulness, but you can tell they've got the kind of roundabout shape of a sidebar. I've got one left to do, so I figured I might as well kind of show anybody who is truly interested what the process looks like without any special or big power tools. So I used the jigsaw first to cut out the rough shape. I'm gonna assume that's gonna shake like crazy. If it shakes, I apologize. It's gonna shake. Yeah. Come down here. Pretty self-explanatory. That's the bottom notch. Now to make the shoulders. I just hit my table saw, so that's normal. Oh, you little bastard. My battery died on the last one. Great, so I just really screwed that piece up. Not surprisingly, the last one is going to be the worst one. All right, once we get this rough shape here, there's a couple tools I use. Very rough. Some people call it a rasp or a file. I call it both because I don't know the actual name. And you just run this back and forth over this rough opening. And doing it this way allows you to kind of whittle it down until it's just the right depth. And because this is such a coarse tool, it removes wood fairly quickly. Okay, now let's jump to the bottom. That is hideous. For this, because I don't have one small enough to fit, I use this real small square file. It's got much finer teeth, so it takes a little bit more time, but it also gives you a smoother finish. And it really doesn't take that long. Uh-oh, train's coming. For the shoulders, I use this guy. It's got a part rounded, half flat. So I use the round part here at the shoulder portion. And then I use the flat portion to feather that out towards the end. I'm gonna have to pause the video because the train's coming and it's gonna be louder than Davy Crockett. Maybe the train's not coming. But you can see, start round, feather it flat. And that's about halfway almost right there. You can tell the difference between the jigsaw and the filed side. Closer. You could take some fine sandpaper to this too if you really felt like getting weird, but I've been getting weird all day, so I'm not. All right, you test fit your top piece. A little tight. I make it snug on purpose, so then I'll take a chisel and I will just pull a small section off of this just by pressing it up like this. That's like less than 1/16 of an inch. You can pull back at a time. There we go. Now it's nice, snug fit. Obviously not square yet. Okay, not the worst fit you've ever seen. Then we'll test fit the bottom as well. And so, I mean, it'll work, I think. Where's the glue? Now this is probably not gonna be as simple as your regular sidebar installation, or maybe it just will be even easier because it's not wanting to hold itself up. What a disaster. Good night. Whose idea was this? Good spot for that. Okay, we'll square it up here in another video because that'll probably take 1.5 years, maybe 3. Loose fit looks like a frame frame of honey. Okay. Alright. Now flip it over and get her on the top side. No blowouts? Wow. Impressive. One blowout. I mean, it's a frame, by God. You're probably saying, what'd you get that speed square out for if you ain't gonna use it? Fair question. Fair question. Now I'm going to take some glue, kind of fill in these gaps a little bit, and I'll probably do this again once it dries, especially if I've got to come back in for my starter strips. Don't know what I'm going to do about that. It's also worth noting, we've bought some pre-made frame kits that were also pretty horrible. So we've also gotten some that are good, but in terms of filling out a box, this will work. This will work. Last test, and then I'll leave you. Things I'm going to do, I'm going to have to create some thinner strips and set those in there, and then I'll put the rest together. I'm not going to make you watch that. The last thing to do is see if it fits in our shallow box. I'm going to get my water out of the way. My hair be... Well, would you look at that? You're going to want to see that for yourself. Okay. Well, people, I don't know what more you want from me. We turned scrap 2x material into some shallow supers. If, and by God, I can't emphasize this enough, if you can just go out and buy them, I would highly, highly recommend that. If you don't want to pay for any wood and you are in a desperate spot and in a bind and the store's closed and you need them the same day, you can do it. It just takes 12 hours and its quality's half as good, and you know what I mean. Alright, starter strips are in. I just laid them down and sanded that one edge that went in the groove, and they are looking pretty good. I mean, they're not great, but bees are going to put honey in that, and that's all that matters. So I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know if you have any questions, comments. Thanks for watching. I already said that. Thanks for watching.